Hi, Julie. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm good. How are you, Stephanie?
Good. Can I peel you off the ceiling with excitement? It's been like a big week.
It has been crazy, but yeah, super exciting. All the emotions, all the things.
That's
Mhm.
awesome. Yes, writing, publishing a book, especially a memoir, and especially a book with the level of connection and deepness that I know yours is. Every emotion on the spectrum shows up. You can't run from it.
Yeah. No, it's been highs and lows. And, I think for me this week, it's been interesting because you kind of come to fruition of this project. And, writing a book is like your baby. It's like
Yeah.
any big project or thing that you are passionate about. So it's almost like your baby left the house and, and you're an empty nester again because you're like,
Oh.
what now? Because this thing is
Yeah.
done. And I think when you're writing about a situation like such as mine, like that was brought
Yeah.
on by tragedy and these things that we're processing through as
Mhm.
we're writing, that it's not that we've come to a place and everything's great and I've moved, God forbid, on. If you read the book, I
Sure.
would never say that. But
Sure.
yeah, the moving forward feels like, okay, maybe I'm supposed to be now. It's kind of a what feeling.
I can imagine. I mean, I think so for those who are tuning in, we're talking about an amazing book on the navigation that from grief to grace. Yes, Julie just published it this week. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It's now in the hands and out there for people to absorb and live and love and learn. But I'm so grateful that you brought up the point of how it feels, because the reality is the journey of grief is not always complete and something you can package up. So in your book, you've really invited readers into a very raw part of your life.
Mhm.
Talk to me about that. Tell us a little bit, without telling the whole book away, tell us a little bit about your journey.
Yeah, a lot of people know that. I mean, I've been a big proponent for recovery and healing and mental health and addiction for lots and lots of years, being almost 21 years sober myself. So, and there's a lot of co-occurring things that happen in trauma. So, depression, anxiety, all those things are caused by a lot of different things. Grief
Mhm.
being one of the top
Yeah.
trauma indicators for us to fall into those, mental health situations. So, for me, my life has been kind of a roller coaster, through addiction and then also through a lot
Yeah.
of tragedies that have just happened to my family personally. We've had our maybe more than our share, or just
Mm.
being in the arena with mental health and addiction. I've also maybe know more people that are experiencing that kind of stuff. So it does take a toll, and it teaches you a lot of lessons, and it also leaves a lot of scars that we have to figure out what to do with those.
Mhm.
So when this tragedy with my fiance, and you will know that that's, kind of the
Yeah.
precursor to what started this book, was my fiance, Charlie Hartman, was taken in a tragic way and suddenly overnight, and just, it was terrible, horrible. And so I had always been somebody that was wanting to write a book, and I had been writing for many years. But once
Yeah.
I've said this before, but this is truly what I believe, and I hope that this is why this book is here, just to kind of help and bless people. But I feel like through my story and all of the things that had happened, once that happened, I felt a call
Mm.
from something saying, "Hey, put away all the things you've been thinking you're going to write about, because what just happened to you, that's going to be your first book."
Mm.
And I said, "Okay, but this is really painful, and I don't really want to do this right now." And
Isn't that how God works? He's like, sorry, we're going to work on that.
like, I don't wanna, 'cause I was mad. Oh,
I
rip
know.
roaring mad. So I was mad, hurt, angry. I mean, all of the emotions. But as you will see in the book, what I did was just try to step into it a little by little by little, and use a lot of life lessons that I have, to guide myself and then hopefully others through the journey. Because it doesn't ever stop. It's just a journey that we keep taking.
And life is a journey that we
Mhm.
keep taking. So I think, as people think, okay, well, I will know when I've accomplished what I'm supposed to, and I can check it off the box, and that's just not how it works. And
No,
then you layer in grief and trauma and hardship, and you're going really, really great. And then you have a cabana experience at the at, at the water park, or you're going really, really fine. And then something happens that triggers you and brings it all back up.
that's right. And that's one of the things I wanted to talk about a lot in the book, is just my years of experience through mental health and different things, I wanted to apply what I knew that had
Yeah.
helped me to be well through my addiction and mental health and loss. I wanted to apply it to this specific grief experience and kind of walk the walk and see if it worked. Is this going to
Mhm.
help me process through this really tragic event where I really felt in the beginning, like we all do, I just didn't know if I could go on. I was like, this might be it for me. It was so hard when we have those situations in life. And unfortunately, it's not really if, it's when we're going to experience loss. If we are living a life and we're humans and we love it all, we're going to experience grief, because grief is the
Mhm.
opposite of loving that person when they're gone. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a journey for sure, but I really wanted to use my tools and
Mhm.
do it on myself, use myself as a guinea pig, if you will, and say, does this stuff that I've learned and practiced and taught, and I'm a learner, can this apply to my grief, and can it help me through? And if so, can I share what that looked like, and could it possibly help somebody else? And I think that what I'm hearing is the answer is yes.
Yeah, I would say it's yes, because I'm a believer that the individuals that I get to help on their journey, it's that is a divine appointment on how that's navigated. And as you and I started to work together in bringing your book to life, I remember going, "Oh my gosh, I need this!" Like, "Oh my gosh, I'm learning through this with even just what happened, personally in my own life since the time of you and I working together." And it's hard and challenging, and yet proof that whether or not you lose a loved one, you are grieving the loss of a job or an old self,
Mhm.
or pick something in between. Grief follows us like a sick puppy that is very frustrating, and sometimes you're able to separate, but other times it's just really challenging. So the coping skills that you bring, and that's what one of my favorite parts about your book is the vulnerability that you share in your own story, and yet you don't leave the reader sitting there going, "Oh my gosh, well, that's that I feel her, but oh my gosh, I don't know what to do." You're sharing with us what you're learning on how to move forward in the journey.
Yeah, I'm an action-packed type of person. Like, I believe that everything starts here. We don't have to believe everything we think, but we can capture that. Scripture says, captivate your thoughts. It's really
Yes,
truthful. God wants us to think about what we're thinking about.
absolutely.
And it's hard when you're grieving and you're in this space of, I can't even brush my teeth, literally. Like, I
I
talked about that in the book. Like, how do you do these things? And how do you apply these things to your life when
mm,
you're in that space? The good thing about, I think, coping skills and things that we learn in life is, and I've said this to so many people, practice it while you're feeling okay. Do this well, practice this skill, cope, take care of yourself, put all those things into practice, because when the proverbial, hits the fan, if you are in the habit of doing these things, it will
great.
be not easy, but it will be, it will become
Easier.
natural to, yes, easier to do those things that you've already been practicing. So,
That's beautiful, beautiful insights. And again, another beautiful reason why, whether or not you're somebody who has navigated some hardships or experienced tough grief, why they should read your book. Because A, it's not if but when. B, if you can incorporate these types of skills early, then it's like life changing. But then for C, I really also believe we judge people unintentionally, and we're walking around, and there are people that we come in contact with daily who have baggage that they're carrying. And if we can better understand and appreciate and love the people who are that we come in contact with, maybe we can give some grace. Your journey is grief to grace, but I think, truly, Julie, it's not meant for us to hold. It's meant for us to also give to ourselves and others.
yeah, I I speak a lot against judgment. I,
Mhm.
I, I think judgmental attitudes and behaviors are very hurtful to people in general, regardless of what you're dealing with.
Mhm.
I like to think about, and I say this in the book, when someone's, and let's say, when they're being just a jerk to me, it's not easy to stop and go, why is this person doing that? But instead of thinking, what a jerk, it really helps to think, what happened to you?
Yeah.
Why are you like that? What's happening? Because, and
Yeah.
again, like I say in the book, it's usually not about the dishes. It's not what you
Mhm.
think. And most of the time, it's not about us. So when we change those cognitive distortions, that make us think that we can read people's minds and that it's always this and people are thinking that, when we can say, hey, I'm going to think about what I'm thinking about and find some truth here. It helps us when we're struggling through traumas and griefs and different things to be more calm, more regulated, and not so anxious, and hopefully
Imagine,
to that depressed state too,
right. Imagine what our world would be like, Julie, if everybody did that for each other, right? If we were able to walk around and go, okay, I don't know what they're going through, but they've got something and I'm going to offer some grace. I just think our world would be better. It'd be really a beautiful place. It can still be, though. We can be part of that. We can do it.
Yes.
I'm interested. I have a specific kind of thought from that I want to hear from you on is when I get the chance to help authors bring their books to life, many times it's through, obviously memoir or business or something that's really important. But man, girl, you have gone through some hard stuff. And I'm curious, what has been the most exhilarating or exciting part of this journey, and what part of this has been challenging for you?
A lot.
So, I know.
There's a couple things. One, and I've said to you and I've said to my family so many times, I didn't want to be on my deathbed and be the person that was going, if I'd have only written the book, I just didn't want to. When I get something in my mind that I feel called to and prompted to, in that it's, it might be beneficial for myself and others, I really want to do it. But sometimes we just, it's hard to get motivated to do those things. So I wanted to do that. But, one of the things that I really wanted to show in this book, and I guess because I have been through so many things, to your point, in my life, one of my goals is not to become bitter. It's to be better and not bitter. And I found myself in the beginning of this grief journey very bitter and angry. I wanted to speak clearly to people that that's okay and it's a normal reaction. But I had a hard time coming out of that. And so I wanted to speak to the other side of the coin. How are we as a community treating people who are grieving? Because I've been in that role so many times, helping people. I've had so many friends lose children and just tragedies, terrible tragedies I can't even speak of. And I got to thinking as I was going through this, did I cause harm? I want to believe that I'm not somebody, I would never intentionally, nor would you or anybody listening, but did I? And so I had to ask that hard question, because as people were saying things to me that they were trying to be kind about, it was painful. And it made me more angry. So, and I've never been one to pull punches. I just say things, out there, and I am pretty vulnerable, but I wanted to speak to some of that so that we can do better. I want to do better. And I want to, when someone's hurting, I want to have better ideas and be intentional about how I'm treating that person. So that side of the coin, if you're not grieving currently, but you may even have somebody that in your life that's hurting, or you just want some tools. I mean, it's a great book for that, because I try to explain a lot of things that make sense, especially like the chapter, like strong is overrated, just things we say and we put on people and
unintentionally.
It's not appropriate, right? But we don't know if we don't know.
So I had a miscarriage with my first pregnancy, and it's not a club that I want to be a part of. It's but it is a club of group of women and men that I connect with now. And in that process, I remember thinking, when you're in it, I have opinions of how I wish people would act and treat me, right? Like, and talk to me. I'm not, broken, like there's things whatever. And yet I realized now, a decade plus outside of that situation, that sometimes when we don't know what to do, we don't do. And what I love about books that are vulnerable, and yours specifically, is it allows people who maybe have not been in the situation, or maybe, might be in one, or maybe have a loved one in one, get an inside look of what it feels like to navigate really hard grief, so that we can be a more compassionate person on the other side, right? It's like, I'm a big believer that books break down walls and build bridges. And I think your book does that. It just kind of shakes the foundation and says, listen, like, I'm going to let you in. I'm going to bring you in. I'm going to tell you, stop shooting me. I'm stopping shooting me. Don't tell me I'm strong because that is not a badge of honor to wear. Like,
Right.
don't do that to me, but show up. Like, be here for me. Like,
Yeah.
bring me a casserole. Give me a hug. If you don't know what to say, I don't know what to say. Like, you're giving people an opportunity to understand and learn where some people would be scared or feel like they would be off-putting or hurtful to ask.
For
That's
sure.
a gift.
I mean, I talk about it. Have a plan, have a plan if you're grieving and you're going in public about what your answers are today, where you're at, gauge yourself. And also if you're loving somebody, here's some things you can say. It's very minimal unless asked, I'm a big proponent for not giving unsolicited advice. I do it all the time. Listen, I'm not saying it's easy. But it's something that I've learned over time is that it's better to ask. Would you like me to say how I feel about that? Or is there something I can do for you? As opposed to, well, my this, and it's just a different way of communicating. And I'll tell you, after going through so many years of so many things, just learning that communication styles, I was just teaching a class the other day on the gamut of the ways we communicate from passive all the way to aggressive and everything in between. And communication is key. It really is to our joy and our happiness in our life. It's the way we communicate really is a game changer. Yeah.
It is. It is. That's beautiful, Julie. Well, I have to tell you what else is beautiful is our chat has exploded. You have so many amazing people who are tuning in and showing you so much love. And I just want to share some of this with you. I mean, it is beautiful seeing so many people who are supporting you, who love you, who have likely walked on this journey along with you. Maybe didn't know all that you have been carrying, and what a gift. You have people who are proud of you, who are rooting you on. I'm getting emotional thinking about it. Like you have walked down a path that isn't easy, and you've come out with a smile, and not a smile because you're strong, but a smile because you have surrendered, and that you have a tools to get you through, and you have a God who supports you through it.
Yeah.
And it's a really, really beautiful thing. So anyways, I just wanted to show some of these really beautiful things on the screen.
I want to say thank you. I mean, I just have such an amazing community, such amazing people in my life. I can't even. Then I'll get emotional.
I know. Well, it's beautiful. Your book is absolutely beautiful. It's, I think, a beautiful testament of you, and you are beautiful and all that you've gone through. I'm proud of you too. And you are a rock star, and I'm excited that this part of your life you were able to accomplish and do, and you listened to the calling that was put on your heart. You allowed myself and the team in this one's sweet. That's why we call her Mama. You are a mother.
Yeah, I do tend to mother people.
It's a beautiful thing. It's an absolute beautiful thing.
And let me just say, Stephanie, to anybody that, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'm going to interrupt you.
Go for it.
If you have a desire like that, it doesn't have to be like a big deal. I made the book small on purpose. I did a lot of things on purpose, just trying to get this done and not make it overwhelming for people to read. And also using a group like Empower. I mean, I didn't know what to do. I was like, what? And, luckily, because we have a friend or a relative that is your friend, it was great. And such a divine appointment too. And I am so grateful for everything you guys did to help me through this process. I could not have done this without your guys' group. And so thank you. You've been awesome. Really.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. It means the world. But honestly, I just believe that, if you listen, like, God calls and connects. And I'm so grateful for that, and grateful for you, like, coming and showing up and being open and, like, bringing your A game and working hard. Friends, she worked hard on this sucker, and it shows. And anyway, so I know people can go buy books. The book's available. It's live. Yes. They can get it now. It's beautiful. I've ordered mine. I can't wait to hold it. But if they want to learn more about you or how to work with you, tell us a little bit more about how that can happen.
Yeah, I mean, I have been a speaker, a public speaker, and a teacher for many, many, many years. And I've been kind of out of that loop for the last couple of years. I've been healing and processing and writing. But that's definitely something I'm still looking forward to doing in the next phase and next season of my life. So they can go to my website, contact me, ask me information. We can just touch base and go from there. But I've done a lot of women's conferences and those types of things. And I'm always available to teach on any recovery, mental health, and addiction topics. So I love doing that because I love being in person and talking to people. It's my favorite. So yeah, that's out there too.
I love that. I love it. Well, I'm going to encourage anyone who is watching this now or in the future, pick up a copy of the book. You will be blessed by it. It will change your life wherever you are on the journey. If you visit julie-maguire.com, you will learn information there and get more. But the book is just 100% something that you will be blessed by. I love Sheila said, "It's time to go on tour, sister." Yes, it is. I think it's awesome. Let's do it. Let's do it. But yes, I had the ready to be fun. Let's do it together. I can stand by the character you bring, the tools you bring, and the message you bring. I would encourage anyone, if you have an opportunity, invite Julie to come. But also, if you have someone in your life that you know that could really benefit from this, buy this book and give it as gifts.
Yeah.
This is a beautiful opportunity to give and to share, and it's a gift that keeps on giving. So don't neglect that either. Julie, before we wrap up, is there anything else that you want to share with those listening today or in the future?
Just, hang in there. I know that things can be tough, but my experience has been, and I say it in the book a lot, we're doing the best we can with what we have today, and your today may feel really crappy. And I want you to, the one thing I want people to know is when this happened to me, I realized in that moment, oh my gosh, this is how people have felt in the past, that I didn't realize that severe of pain. I had seen a lot of pain, but I didn't realize that level of pain. What I want people to know is there is a path forward from that pain. There is progress and there is a process, and you can be well again. You're going to be different, but you can get well again. And so it's just a book of hope. I hope that people will see that no matter what, there's hope on the other side.
That's beautiful. Yeah. Despite where you are, no matter how low you are and you feel, there is hope. Just keep on moving. Just keep on moving. It's a beautiful, beautiful way to wrap up, really, I think, everything I've read and learned from you and today's conversation. For those who've tuned in, thank you. Thanks for being so awesome. Oh my gosh, they just keep coming in. Donna's saying, what a gift and a blessing. I'm over here just super emotional about it. I can only imagine you, friend. But what an amazing support you have. Thank you for supporting Julie and loving on her. And for anyone else, please use this book as a way to bless so many people. So Julie-Maguire.com, From Grief to Grace. Show it to us again, friend. I just can't wait to hold it.
So exciting. I'm trying to get it in there, right?
I know. It looks amazing. It looks amazing.
I like it. Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful.
And I would say real quick before we go, it really, one of my motivations was to honor Charlie and for his legacy to live on. And I feel like it does.
It absolutely does. It absolutely does. Well, thanks for tuning in, and I can't wait to see what God has in store for you next, friend.
Thank you again, Stephanie. You guys are awesome.
You're welcome.